Hello, everyone. My name is Duarte Moraes from People First Tourism, and this is a re-recording of Lunch and Learn Together uh, web-based discussion and webinar about how tourism micro-entrepreneurs might sell tickets, best practices on how they might sell tickets on web platforms. We are starting a Lunch and Learn Together series. This is today's October 7th, and we're going to do one of these around lunchtime during the first week of the next coming months. And we're doing this because we are now working with several destinations to try to, with whom we've been collaborating and supporting local creatives and makers and growers, farmers to create tourism experiences and make them available on the tourism organizations' websites. And we are now starting to work at becoming less and less needed by these collective of entrepreneurs. So we in the peoplefirsttourism.com website, we are starting now to market, to sell experiences that we might be the ones selling the tickets, but we also can list experiences that you, the entrepreneurs, are selling the tickets yourselves. So we're going to talk about like just generally what to think about when selling tickets online. We're going to point out a few members of the People First Tourism Collective that have some insights into how they sell tickets online. And then we'll have somebody in our team come to talk about the pros and cons of several platforms and talk about the things, tricks and tips that we use to try to make event descriptions that are really effective in selling tickets. All right. So to begin, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how you need to think of collaborating with the local TDA, with the local tourism organization to help, sell your tickets. Okay. So one thing to know is that every county in North Carolina and in other states has these TDAs. They're funded by the occupancy tax collected in hotel night stays and in short-term rentals. And they need to use those funds to promote tourism in their area. And they need things to promote. If you go to your destination's webpage, visit Charlotte, visit Chattanooga, visit Asheville, visit all of these other destinations, there's generally at the top a tab saying things to do, when you're visiting us. And so the destinations want really cool things so that they can then promote them. And they promote them through creating blogs, sometimes themselves. They have their own copy creation, content creation people with photos and stuff. Sometimes they hire digital media companies to make videos about the things to do in their destination. And they even pay for social media ads to try to get more visibility to the things that you are offering. They are very interested in you because you are unique. You, the local creatives and local makers, local growers. If they don't have some of you, as many of you as possible, actively engaging in offering experiences that are genuine, unique, specific to that place, then they become very artificial destinations, very Disneyfied, very standardized, and so they are not very competitive because you are the expression of what makes your community a unique place. And so we would encourage you to think of your event descriptions and the events you offer and how you describe them to highlight how they are hyper-local, how they are genuine, how you are unscripted, you're speaking from the heart, you're sharing what you're passionate about. It's really critical to get good images. You need to find a way, ask friends to come and take pictures of you when you are doing your thing. And, we will talk to you about polishing the description of your event, maybe using AI. We sometimes do that. And the other thing that's helpful is if the TDA sees that you're not doing one-off events, that there's a certain consistency to what you are offering. And that's, we've heard that also like in the social media algorithm. If you create content, you need to create content repeatedly so that you start popping up in people's wall and stuff. And so with the TDA is the same thing. If you can do something once a month or twice a month or, in a certain periodicity, they will be more excited to share your stuff because they know that they can invest themselves in learning about you and creating content, and you'll still be offering those things a few months ahead. Not exactly the same thing, but the same kind of thing. So we keep an eye on other destinations and our own destinations in North Carolina to see best practices on how local genuine things are promoted. And one of the places we follow and keep in touch with and communication with is Greenville, South Carolina. And this screenshot of their website shows you a listing of local things to do. And you can see that all of these listings have a green button that says book now. And even says a little bit about some of them, say the ticket price ranges around these figures. And so that's what the TDAs we feel like should be striving to do. But to do that, each of these small companies um, need to have a web presence where their activities, where their experiences are listed clearly and the price and the ticket can be purchased. So the thing you need to think about is to strive to find a page that you can pass on to the TDA so that when they are listed on their website, when people find that your picture over there, like running through that rapid, when people click and book now, they immediately are taken to ticket sales and they will be likely to buy tickets. Otherwise, if they go to your general website or your Facebook page and they have to look for events, and 3, 4, 5 clicks later, you've lost that person. So the attention that the TDA generates about you is not converted into tickets. It doesn't support your investment in tourism. You might become disheartened and less successful, and then they also lose a partner. So it's a lose-lose if you're not able to give, the TDA a direct link to an experience where people can go ahead and buy tickets. Okay. If you use People First Tourism, then, the tickets we sell, they end up in their website very seamlessly, but you want to use also your own. You don't want to be dependent on a partner like us. And so we encourage you, and we'll talk to you today about some of the ticket sales platforms that you might use that are then easily integrated by the TDA. And then the second example comes all the way from Austin, where I found these tour company, a smallish, medium-sized company that has a few different kinds of events. And you can see that they're using Fair Harbor. And they have a calendar, and you can have several experiences in the day with different times, as you can see in this screenshot. So some platforms have these really user-friendly interaction. It makes it very professional looking, and it converts attention into ticket sales a lot better. And we also use all kinds of tricks. You can see here a screenshot of a experience, a series that we offer maybe twice a month, maybe 3 times a month. There's several creatives in the area that are facilitating the experience. It's not always the same person that is providing the experience, but it's the same kind of experience. It's not always in the same place, but it's in the similar kind of place. And so this kind of gives and it creates kind of a branding, a sub-branding and a familiarity of this term with the market. So then people are able to let their friends know that this kind of experience happened. And, it tends to create a forward momentum to making your events fill and sell enough tickets. Okay, so then in this meeting, we had a couple of members of the collective of People First Tourism sharing their experience. And one of them was Craig Prince. He is the lead of this experience that's called Culture at the Mic. And they went from selling tickets exclusively through People First Tourism to now doing it in partnership with the venue that hosts their experiences called The Portal here in Raleigh. And Craig, a little bit a while ago when we were during our meeting, he shared how he has a good relationship with them, and using their website makes sense for the sake of the overall relationship. They share the revenues from the ticket prices with their host, and then they pay almost immediately to him, the organizers, and to the artists that poets and artists that they feature in their event. Okay, the second member of the collective that came and shared was Ben Strunk, and he is the co-owner, runs the Triangle Treasure Hunt local company, and we work with them selling tickets for their treasure hunts around the Triangle area. We talked about how he offers some of these experiences outside of Wake County, like in Durham, near us. And so he has the preoccupation of having different pages for the events that he does in each county, because in Visit Raleigh, each TTA can only advertise events inside their county. And so when you think about having a web page where you list all your events, it's kind of nice that you do it in many places. But if they are crossing county barriers, that page that has all that listing is not a very convenient, and almost it's against policy for a TDA to draw attention to your overall calendar if there's events happening or held outside of that county. So you want to think about, like, if you have a page, a home page, for yourself, then you might have a page for the events you have in Durham County or in this other county, and another page on this county, so that you can point to a link. You can provide a link to the TDA of a particular county, and they will be able to advertise the events in their county. Otherwise, they are not allowed to draw attention to that page. Okay. And then we had John from our team talk about what he thinks about, what are the ways in which we try with our systems and think of helping you collaborate closely with TDAs, with the tourism development authorities. So what you want to do is, he expressed that you need to create a specific link to purchase a type of event for a particular date and time. And then that link is able to be put into a TDA calendar of things to do here. And also create a social media version of that. Usually we use a Facebook event, and that way that event can be boosted by the TDA, and you would want to invite the TDA to be a co-host of that event on Facebook. And that way they can use also social media ads pointing people to your particular events. But you want to give them the link to that event where people can immediately see the tickets that they can buy. And then he has been researching a little bit, and he created a document that you can find on peoplefirsttourism.com toolkit. And as a PDF document where he highlights the pros and cons of several of these ticket platforms that you can see there in the list. And if you have, questions about, how to make this decision of which of these platforms is best for you, let us know to info@peoplefirsttourism.com, and we will schedule a consultation and work with you on that. He worked out these kind of interesting example. You can see in this table how if somebody's selling a lot of tickets that are a little bit cheaper or less tickets that are a little bit more expensive each, different of these platforms will have advantages. And here's a summary of the advantages of each of the 6 platforms that he highlighted for us. Zephy is really cheap, but then when people buy tickets, they are asked if the buyer wants to make a donation to the platform. Ticket Tailor, Ticket Spice, Fair Harbor, Square Appointments, and Eventbrite are all featured on that handout, and identified as like best for this and best for that. This is our screenshot of our toolkit page. I hope you take a look at it and become familiar with it. We will keep adding materials to it, and we will have these kinds of webinars throughout the next few months about each of the themes that you can see there in those buttons: online sales, marketing, risk management, collaborating with local government, getting the support of local government, and then the industry as well. And you can register for these meetings, these gatherings online at this page. And then Jamie shared some of her tricks of the trade in creating appealing and successful event description pages. She's the main team member of the People First Tourism team that is responsible to doing this, to put things online, to polish things, and put together the event descriptions. And so we use AI to polish up the copy. I remember struggling with this many years ago because the language used, takes a little bit of training and getting used to it. It's really hard to write creatively like that and in an appealing kind of advertising kind of way. And nowadays we lean on AI solutions to help us do that, to change the tone, the length, and using keywords that we like hyperlocal. And so we encourage you to play with that and see, what you can do. Jamie pointed out that warming and welcoming tone goes really well with this kind of thing we do, this hyperlocal sphere, this hyperlocal connecting with locals, connecting with local knowledge. So we encourage you to explore that. And then at the same time, though, to be very clear with how long it's going to be, what's included, what's not included, how to prepare for it. You want to have just kind of a set of like clear things, instructions. And then we do play around with titles quite a bit, bounce it back and forth, ask AI for suggestions based on event descriptions, and um, then finally pick something that the creative, the maker, the grower really likes and that we think is going to attract attention. And then lastly, we wanted to mention that having good photos is a key thing, and that you can reach out to us and we'll come over to your event and take photos and also work with us with that, ask us about it. And we might even be able to get a professional photographer because the TDAs that we work with, at least, generally have a professional photographer on retainer. And so we sometimes have been able to convince them to hire a photographer to capture the magic of your events. All right. Okay, and to finish, I just want to make a little pitch for you joining us a month from now. You see, we'll have these two coming up this fall, and then we'll keep on going throughout the winter. All right. Thank you so much.